What I'm going to do is actually just create a new app from scratch. And again, this is going to be something based off of, let's say, an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to start from a spreadsheet. We'll call it the Stout demo. By default, I'm asked if I want to create online services. So GitHub integration automatically, Subversion is also an option. Or if you have your own repository choice, then you tell us. Default language, all ISO languages are supported. Ultimately, I'll create an app directory, and then it's going to ask me for, let's see, the Excel spreadsheet that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to grab this invoice data. Let me open it up so we could take a look at it before I do. Pretty straightforward. Along the Latos bike idea, we've got some invoices where I'm doing some work with some bearing company, clutch company, and then this is my small list of three customers. Again, just to preface it, small app, we're putting it together while we're sitting here on the phone, but of course, very scalable. We can talk about how we scale horizontally, vertically, to support whatever size application you may want to put together long term. So it's going to take in my data, read, it's going to say, okay, great, I see all this. You'll see that customer is actually gray because it's determined that we have a relationship from invoices to customers. If I think it looks good, I can say, great, import the data. And now we're actually into the development environment. By default, it created invoices and customers. We all hate the idea of using S's on our entities, so we'll remove that. Of course, we're building a data table, right? So I've got invoice, I've got customer, I've got my columns, we've got created date. We can create attributes as we see fit, use standard table, column ability. We have a few different things. Most importantly, I'd like to point out persistable. So if I were to say this is non-persistent, this means that we're not actually going to create a database table. This is something that we're going to just use at runtime. So you're going to do quite a bit of this when you're working with the mobile application part of it. So we're not trying to write to a database. We're trying to keep it stored locally, cache, and then throw it away. So we want it to be lightweight. We don't want to have to try to write back to the server. We have the ability to configure that at design time. So that would be one of the three most important pieces, right? So we have setting up the data. We have our home web page. So that would be, wherever we would land, pretty generic. If I go to design mode, this is what it would look like when I launch the application. Right now, we don't have anything there. Let's go ahead and change that. So you'll see by default, we created the overview pages. So I have a customer overview page. If we take a look at what that looks like, this is what it should render like when we get there. I'll go to structure mode, and I'm just going to go ahead and steal this. We'll copy, and then I'll throw it onto this page. Now, the fun thing is I could have just right-click and said extract snippet. So if I extract that into a snippet or a building block, it actually as a building block, you can create it, and it'll be available for future applications. As a snippet, it's available throughout the application. So if I want to use it in different pages and I only want to manage one interface component, I can make it a snippet, and then that way when I change my search capability or change anything here, it changes everywhere that this data grid is proliferated.